everybody. So, for this flipped lesson, we're first going to do a little recap of last week's lesson over really Jane's past, and we're going to review some of the stuff that we've kind of read, and in doing so, we're going to watch this little clip. So, here we go.
So we don't know that much about Jane Austen's life because after her death, her sister burned most of her letters. Just a friendly note, by the way, to any future literary executors out there, maybe don't burn so much stuff, even if you're told to. Wait, unless you're my literary executor, then burn everything. But here's what we do know. Jane Austen was born in 1775 to an Anglican clergyman and his wife. She was the second youngest of 8 children, and her father farmed and took in students to make ends meet. Jane was mostly taught at home, and sometimes she wasn't taught at all, although she and her sister did go to a year or two of boarding school. And when she was 11, Jane started writing plays and novels, mostly social satires and parodies of novels of sensibility, a literary genre in which women like cry and sigh and think a lot. Many of these early works were in the style of the epistolary novel, which is a story composed of letters, and we see echoes of that form in Pride and Prejudice. We also see some echoes of Pride and Prejudice in Austen's life. She never married, but she did receive at least one proposal that she accepted for a few hours. And after her father's death in 1805, her financial position and the positions of her mother and her sister became increasingly insecure. By 1816, 4 of her books had been published, and she was working on a new novel called Sanditon when she died in 1817 at the age of just 41. 2 more of her works, Persuasion and Northanger Abbey, were published after her death, and all of her novels are really good, but to me at least, Pride and Prejudice is the most perfect of them. There's this precision to it, like The Great Gatsby, Ursula. Pride and Prejudice is a novel in which every single word feels genuinely essential. So what happens in Pride and Prejudice? Well, let's go to the thought bubble. Mr. and Mrs. Bennet live in rural England with their 5 daughters, Pretty Jane, Lively Elizabeth, Horrible Mary, Airhead Kitty, and boy-obsessed Lydia. When Mr. Bennet dies, the estate will go to a male cousin, so the daughters have to find rich husbands, or else live in poverty or become governesses. And if you've read Jane Eyre, you know how great that gig is. Mr. Bingley, an eligible bachelor, arrives on the scene, and he and Jane fall in love. Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy, Mr. Bingley's best friend, definitely don't. In fact, Elizabeth sort of hates him. Elizabeth gets a proposal of marriage from Mr. Collins, the cousin who's going to inherit the estate, and marrying him would save her sisters from poverty, but Mr. Collins is awful, and so Elizabeth declines. Her best friend Charlotte ends up snagging him. Meanwhile, Elizabeth starts to fall for Wickham, a soldier in the militia who also hates Mr. Darcy. Suddenly, Mr. Bingley moves
In class, we read chapters 25 and 26, and in doing so, of course, we annotated. So I went ahead and put the pages from chapter 25 and 26 and kind of highlighted the main things that I wanted y'all to annotate. Of course, there were others, and how the class mentions other things. If y'all missed it or if y'all didn't write them down, y'all can connect with y'all's classmates. But these are just some of the main things that I think are necessary. So if you have any questions, you can also come see me. But in blue is the annotation main parts, and in the pink is our vocabulary that you should know. I know we didn't annotate too much in chapter 26 due to time and class. So what I would recommend right now, I highlighted all of the vocabulary for this chapter, so I would definitely write those down and get the definition for those. There's a few important things in this chapter that I don't want to be confused, so tomorrow we will discuss the key annotations for this chapter. This is the answer key to the quiz that we took in class. This will be a great reference for our unit exam at the end of next week.